Rob's Rocker Limited, a nightclub and a pub operator, is considering different capital structures for its future. While the company had rapid growth in the past, its growth has been converging to a near constant rate. The company has been listed for many years and can be considered a mature business facing limited risk. However, in the eyes of the management of the company, the capital structure does not reflect this, as very little debt is employed in the capital structure. A recent shareholder meeting led to a call for more debt to be used, higher earnings per share to be achieved, and in turn, increase the dividend payments to be made, while a push for higher return on equity ROE was also requested by many shareholders. A dividend payout of 30% has been agreed to be in principle, dependent on the variability. So I was checking this question to say, when I was doing the calculation, did I take into account this? So my answer might not have taken into account this, but I'll take into account this when you are doing the calculation and make that correction. Okay, so a dividend payout of 30% has been agreed to be in principle, dependent on the viability thereof under a capital structure incorporating more debt. Right. Other relevant information is provided in the table below. So we are having these items which are applied to the current capital structure. So we are saying that under the capital structure, we've got a beta of 1.2, debt to equity ratio. And let's always remember, debt to equity ratio is different from debt ratio, is 50%. So when we are talking of debt to equity ratio, we are saying debt let's just think of it in numerical terms, divided by equity, right? That's what we're saying. It's providing us 0.5 for 50%. So 2 divided by 4, it gives us 50%. So we can say we've got 2 million debt and 4 million equity. And we're saying market cost of debt is 10% relevant to ROBs. My pen is too bold. Let me try to reduce it. Seems as if that's the one there. Maybe if I pick this one. It's bold. Market cost of debt is 10% relevant to ROBs Rocker Limited. Risk-free is 5%. Market return is 10%. Market risk premium is 5%. Shares in issue, they're 500,000. Market price per share, that's 10. Total liabilities was 2 million. Total assets was 6 million. Stable dividend, that's 1 rand. Then we are saying operating profit, EBIT 3 million, not expected to change under either new structure. Cost of debt 3% applicable to total liabilities under the current capital structure. Then tax rate 28%. Right. The two proposed capital structure that the company are considering. So we're talking about this company as a company that is already considered mature, but it is employing little debt. So the company is making a transition to employ more debt. So the new capital structure is to say, let's employ more debt. So this is the first proposed capital structure and the second one. So we're saying 50% debt, 50% equity, 60% debt, 60% equity. But the current capital structure is looking like this. It's saying 50% debt to equity, right? And if we check, it's 2 million debt, 4 million equity, right? Do you see that when you're saying 50% debt to equity is different to 50% debt, 50% equity? 50% debt, 50% equity is similar to 4 million, 4 million, 50% debt, 50% equity. I will explain that as we are proceeding. The book weights of the different sources of capital are considered to be approximate. Book weights of the different sources of capital are considered to approximate the market weights in cases of both capitals, in case of both structures. And the company is no target capital structure it intends to revert to in the future. The group financial officer, CFO, of the holding company of which Rob's Rocker Limited is a subsidiary, found that the company can best borrow from a bank at a market-related cost of 10% on new loans, while it would be possible to issue new shares at 10 rand a piece and 90% of the issue price. the board has resolved that no shares will be bought back or retired, and that retained earnings should not be touched during this exercise. So we are not adjusting equity. The group chief financial officer is just you as the financial manager of Robes Rocker Limited with tabling different sources of financing the company can use, right? They can use. She has already proposed the proportions of capital based on her extensive experience in the food and industry. She just you with evaluating the two options that will go to the board. Both capital structures are considered to be plausible and have benefits and drawbacks. Therefore, the group chief financial officer tasked you with evaluating the two possible structures is set out. The report should be structured as follows, with the expected calculation to base your discussion or discussion on indicated in brackets. Right. The first one, we need to calculate the cost of capital. We need to calculate the weighted average cost of capital, which is 9 months. So you see, it is a combination of cost of capital and capital structure. And 2, risk, we need to calculate the debt ratio times interest and interest or interest coverage ratio. So times interest is then interest coverage. Profitability, which is measured by return on equity and earnings per share. Dividend payment or dividend per share, right? And its feasibility, flexibility of each structure, arguments for and against the structure. Number of calculation discussions is per above. Use Hamada equation when discussing beta. Guys, if I'm going to scroll up, or maybe you want me to do this in a way that we used to do, to say we don't read the answers, we calculate ourselves, well, it's fine. But I want you to just to give me some hints so that I will not be alone in this fight. The first thing that we need to do is to calculate, I'm sure you'll be able to see what I'll be writing here. Weighted average cost of capital. How are we supposed to calculate weighted average of cost of capital? I'm sure we all know that it is cost of debt multiplied by weight of debt plus cost of equity multiplied by weight of equity. How are we going to get the 6 marks indicated? You're free to suggest. Just what you think.
Cost of debt.
Yes. Okay. You want us to calculate cost of debt. Okay. Okay. Do you want us to do you want to take us through the calculation of cost of debt, or you are indicating that we need to calculate cost of debt?
Hi, Amen. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I think we can start with the cost of debt, where we figure out we check on the scenario given the interest. The formula is the interest open bracket 1 minus tax rate to find out the percentage, and then after we'll be able to also get the cost of equity.
Okay.
I can't. So I'm using my phone, so I can't see properly.
10%. So it's 10 times 1 minus 0.
It's
10%.
10%.
1 minus 0.28.
0.28. Okay. Why did you say 10%, guys?
Why 10?
Is it not blaring?
Not really.
Oh, okay, so if you're able to say, I'm not saying 10% is wrong, but I just want you to justify taking 10%.
And it says in the question there that the company can best borrow from the bank at a related cost of 10%.
Okay, yeah, that's correct. Because here you are saying put 3%, so you don't need to use the book cost of debt. You use market cost of debt, and you are told in question that here, where is it exactly? Let me just see. I want to start on the top. Let me restrict auto-saving. It can delay the processing of the paper here. If it wants to save here and there. Because I want to go up, it's not going. But I'm sure I can see here. You are saying market cost of debt here is 10% relevant ROBS limited on top. And if we go down here, what's happening to my document here? Now keep on saving. What? That's the problem. Just a moment. Let me open a lot of. Just a moment. I want to close these pages. There might be ones affecting us. Okay. Sure. Okay. Okay, so I was indicating here to say, you see here we're told the market cost of debt here on top, that is 10%. And also as we're reading below, we are seeing that the question is indicated that the company can best borrow from a bank at market related cost of 10%. It's a market related cost of 10% on new loans, while it would be possible the shares, let me not read it. So we use the market cost of debt, not the book value, right? So if we do the calculation, the cost of debt will be what?
Amen. Can I just can I take you back, please? So there's 2 10% that mean that have completely different meanings, like the one at the bottom and the one above. And you said which one is the market one and which one is supposed to use?
This one and this one, this the first one that you're talking about, right? And this one and this one. Okay, so this one, right, is the same. There's no way they talk about market related cost of debt and they say here maybe 9% and below they say 5%. So below is just a repetition of this. Market cost of debt, it will be the same.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay, so what will be our cost of debt, guys?
7.2.
7.2. Is everyone getting 7.2%?
So, Eamon, can I just confirm
if we're given a book value and then the market rate, we still continue using the market rate, right?
If we're given the book value and also the market value, right?
Uh-huh.
We use the market value. Unless we do not have the market value, we use the book value. So it goes like this. Yeah, okay, I'll explain that later. Let
It's
me know
market,
this
it's
way.
target, and book. So there's book value, there's
Yeah.
market value, and there's target value.
Yes, yeah. I'll also re-explain that in another in another class. But now, okay, it's fine. We can proceed. So we're saying we've got 7.2, right? Is anyone missing the 7.2? If not, let's go to the next. Tell me the next item, guys, that we're supposed to calculate.
Cost of equity.
Cost of equity. Can you take me through? Can you take us through the calculation of equity, guys?
It's the risk-free plus beta times market risk premium.
And it will be
5 plus 1.2 times 5.
our answer will be what?
11.
11%. So what's next, guys, from this? Are we all getting this? And what you're saying?
Yes.
I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you.
I don't know if we calculate the weights because aren't they given? The weights is that 50-50 and that 40-60. Isn't that the weights?
Hey,
Yes, I also agree.
so yeah, just tell me, guys, what you want me to do.
We're saying the weights are given, so we don't calculate the weights.
Okay, so what should I do next? I want to follow you.
But I have a question. It's quite confusing because one maybe could have, since we have the total liabilities there and also the total assets to determine the debt ratio or the weight. Yeah, it's also something that it's doable, but I'm not sure if it's correct because the weight of debt is total assets, total liabilities over total assets, which is also there.
Total assets over total liabilities, right?
No, liabilities over total assets. Yes.
Okay. Can you just repeat your statement? I want to get something there.
Okay, I was saying that since one, or maybe let me say, I could have also taken the total liabilities divided by total assets since they are clearly there, but also we do have the given weight of debt and weight of equity.
Well, that's fine, but maybe let me just assist there. You see what this question is requiring us only to use this because the same book weights of the different sources of capital are considered to approximate the market weights in the cases of both possible structures. In the company is no target capital structure in a structure it intends to revert. The group chief financial officer of the holding company of Robs Limited is a subsidiary. I found that the company can best borrow what. I just want to reach where I want to reach. So the group chief financial officer has tasked you, the financial manager of Robs Rocker Limited, with tabling different sources of financing the company can use. She has already proposed the proportions of capital based on extensive experience in the field. She has tasked you with evaluating two options that will go to the body. So the two options that you need to deal with is this one. So this first one, if we say 2 divided by 6, what do we get? 0.33, right? So this is the current capital structure. But now the group chief financial officer has tasked you to evaluate these two options, options, the 50-50, 60-60. So we are not using, we can calculate three things here. We can calculate WACI using the current capital structure, or calculate WACI using this one and this one. But for this question, we just need to calculate WACI using the first capital structure, the first proposed and the second proposed here.
Okay, thank you so much. I understood.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yes.
Okay, is it fair now to say we can, since you are asking what is it that we are going to do after this calculations that we just got, is it possible that we can move to our unlevered?
Oh, yep. There was a bit of break.
Oh, I'm saying that since we have calculated the current cost of debt and equity, are we not going to move to our unlevered beta?
Thank you. That's what I wanted to hear from you guys. If you were asking me to calculate work using the current, if you wanted me to go and calculate work, definitely I was going to accept and do the calculation. After we finished, I was going to take you back to do the correct thing. I was believing that will help you also to understand more, right? Because you realize the mistake. So we cannot use this as cost of equity. Do we get it? Or do we understand that 11 is not our cost of equity that we are supposed to use?
Yes, because you're saying we have to use it under those two different scenarios that were given. So we calculate the ones that we are currently working with, and now we have to calculate now going towards the ones that we are giving, the structure X and structure Y. That's where we are headed now. Okay.
Yes, thank you. So we are saying,
okay,
yes.
so I did try with this one a bit. So we can say the unlevered beta is equals to a beta, which is levered.
Is equal to
divide by.
beta
I'm now
levered.
giving the formula beta levered, and then we say divide by 1 plus 1 minus our tax.
1 minus
all in brackets, like yes, and multiply by our d divided by our e.
Like this.
D divided, yes.
Did we know this, guys? I have sent a class on a cost of capital beta levered and unlevered. If you did not get it, you can let me know so that I'll send you, or even the slide on that aspect. Okay, thank you.
And Blessing is here. He can actually explain it very well, because I think he articulates it and explains it well. So I don't know, maybe he's quiet, or is he going to let me answer this question?
Oh, Blessing, you know it well. Yes, Blessing can come in. Oh, it's good, guys. If you're also studying in the background, that's fine. So.
Or I can just continue, then it's fine. It's still fine.
Yes.
Okay. Then we can do our unlevered beta, which were given for 1.2. I think that it's given as 1.2.
Our levered beta, right?
Yes, I think it's 1.2. I don't know. You can scroll up a bit. I think it's 1.2. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and then we're gonna say we're gonna give all the values. We say 1 divide, okay, well, it's 0.72. We know 1 minus 0.8. It's 0.72 multiplied by the debt onto the ratio we given as 0.5. Our example, remember it's 0.5, yes. So all that is, what I got is 1.2 divided by 1.36. Which is going to be 0.8824 or 0.88, depends on how far you want to, yes.
Okay.
Decimals, for 2 decimals, 0.88, yes.
Okay. Let me now pose the question to others. Are we getting what we are doing, guys, here before we proceed to the next stage? Are you getting this? Did you manage to get why we did everything, all this? If you have a question, feel free to ask it so that we explain before the next stage.
Please explain.
Please explain, because I got lost.
Okay. So I need to explain that. So you see the beta that we've calculated here, it's because we want to use a new capital structure. Let me just scroll down a bit if I can, or let me do this. Okay, let me explain here. Okay, you know we have a concept that we talk of financial risk. Financial risk, we talk of financial risk in financial management. Right? We say as more debt is acquired in the company, right, risk increases. What is this risk? This risk relates to the payment of fixed interest, right? So as you increase debt, your risk increases. But how do we realize that? How do we find the increase in risk? We find it from the capital asset price model formula, or the cost of equity formula, which says RF plus beta multiplied by market risk premium. Sorry, it now wants to do the market risk premium. So the beta element in the cost of equity or capital asset price model signifies risk. So if we have a company called ABC and it's got 500 rand in debt and 300 rand in equity like this, it can have beta X, let me say beta of 1.1, right? But if this company increases debt and debt becomes 700, maybe equity remains 300, the beta has to change, maybe to 1.3 to reflect the increased systematic risk, which is symbolized by beta. So the beta has to change, right? So in the example that we just gave there above, we have company, we have Rob's Rockery Company. His current capital structure goes like this. The current, I'm sure you're able to see what I'm writing, capital structure is like this. The company has got debt and it has got equity, right? What is its current debt? What is current equity? Its current debt, we are told in the question that total liabilities are 2 million, right? 2 million. And equity, we are just going to say, our accounting equation says total assets is equal to total liabilities plus total equity, right? So we have total assets of 6 million there is equal to total liabilities of 2 million plus equity unknown. So to calculate equity, we can just bring the 2 million here and subtract, and we have got our total equity of 4 million. Are we all getting this part? To see the proportion of debt and equity in the current capital structure.
Yes.
Well, so by that, we are now understanding the current capital structure. So the current capital structure is saying our debt to equity ratio, our debt over equity ratio becomes 2 over 4, which is equal to 0.5. Are we together? Then our debt ratio, which is equal to total debt over total assets, is equal to total debt 2 million divided by 2 million, which is debt, plus equity 4 million, and it becomes our debt ratio becomes what? 2 divided by 6. What do we get? 0.33. So this is our debt ratio. Are we getting all this? The differences between debt equity ratio, debt ratio. Are we together?
Yes, amen.
Yes. Well, that's fine. So what we essentially say is that the company that we have in question, right, its currently debt to equity ratio is equal to 0.5. Its debt ratio is equal to 0.333 what, right? So we are saying that we are told a new capital structure. Let's start with the structure of 50% debt, 50% equity, right? So this new capital structure, it does have a different beta, because here we've got a beta that we are told of 1.2. But here, remember, we're saying we've got 2 million debt, 4 million equity, right? Debt to equity ratio, right? But now the debt to equity ratio has changed. And as such, we have to take into account that and reflect, because the debt to equity ratio on this structure, what is the debt to equity ratio, guys? Tell me. Debt to equity ratio here is just like 50 over 50, 50 over 50, so it's 1. There above, it was 0.5. So the debt to equity ratio has changed, which means now the company has changed its structure. It has got the same amount of debt and the same amount of equity, to the extent that if we say 4 divided by 4, we get 1. That's now the debt to equity ratio. The debt to equity ratio has changed, which means that now the company has acquired more debt. So it also signifies that our beta has to change. I'll get to something. Feel free to ask. Even if you do one question, it's enough, because we need to explain in detail and you understand this. I'll get in this part only. I know the last part might be. Yes, you can talk.
I lost it there by 50 divided by 50.
Yeah, I understand there. Let's talk about that. Okay, so I will repeat to say, are we all agreeing that the current capital structure goes like this? We are saying we've got a debt to equity ratio of 50%. How do we get 50%, guys? So debt to equity ratio, the formula is just total debt divided by total equity. How did we calculate that? Total debt, we are told total liabilities, that total debt is 2 million. What is total equity? It's total assets minus total debt, that's 4 million. And we get 50% or 0.5. Are we together there on that part?
Yes.
Then now let's go to structure X. Structure X, right? Structure X now is telling that there is 50% debt in the company and 50% equity. But before defining structure X, guys, tell me the percentage of debt in the current capital structure. We said here, guys, we actually said that the company's got 2 million debt and 4 million equity. But if I ask you, what is the percentage of debt in the current capital structure, what do you tell me?
It's 50.
Retry. That's where everything has to be done correctly. And I know that's where we are having problems. Let's try to redo. It's not supposed to be 50. Because debt to equity ratio is different to debt ratio. You need to open up if you do not understand the difference between debt ratio and debt to equity ratio. So what I can tell, your enlightenment and the solution to most of these things is your ability to truly and actually understand the difference between debt ratio and debt to equity ratio. Debt ratio is different to debt to equity ratio. What is the percentage of debt in this capital structure, guys?
Isn't it 2 million divided by 6 million? Then we put percentage.
And it's what?
33.33.
2 million divided by 6 million times 100.
Yes, thank you. That's our percentage of debt. That's our debt ratio. But let me come again to those who are saying 50%. I'm getting how we are getting this. We want to go together.
Yes.
Yeah. Why? Because if we say 50%, 50% is the debt to equity ratio. It's debt to equity ratio. But debt ratio is total debt divided by total assets. And we are getting it by saying total debt is 2 million. Divided by total assets is equal to total debt plus total equity. Then it's 2/6. Are we agree?
Yes.
Then we go to the new capital structure. The new capital structure is saying 50% equity, 50% debt. What is the debt ratio, the debt to equity ratio for capital structure X? What is the debt to equity ratio for the capital X?
1.
It's 1. How are we getting it?
50 divided by 50.
50 divided by 50, then we get 1. What is the debt ratio for capital X?
It's 50.
It's 50. We're getting it by saying are we together?
Yes.
So I don't want to give you pressure, but your homework, and this can give you problems. If you get problems during a discussion, you start. I know it can confuse. Even if you go try to do yourself, you can get some few confusion. Feel free to contact me. Sometimes you can give me a call so that you become quickly before you forget. I'm available. I can receive I can answer the call. Then I will explain that. So that keep in mind, guys, that you don't mix up debt to equity ratio and debt ratio. So we agree, right? So if we want to now explain the current capital structure, and structure X, current capital structure is a debt ratio of 33.33%. Capital structure X is a debt ratio of 50%. So you see, now what we are saying is that when the debt ratio changes, risk changes, and that is reflected in the beta. And the beta is part of our formula where we say RF plus beta multiplied by market risk premium. So the beta has to be changed. So when we move from one debt ratio or capital structure to another, we need to change our beta through the Hamada equation. We need to change our beta through the Hamada equation, even if it is vice versa. Maybe we are moving from 50%, which is more debt, to 30% or 33%, which is less debt. We need to change our beta maybe of 1.3 so that we reflect the reduction in financial risk or in the beta. Are we together?
Yes, amen.
Well, that's fine. I'm sure if we get back to where we are, I might have forgotten where we're calculating that, but let me try to scroll down and see if we can get there. if we get where we were that other time and saying we need now to calculate. I wanted to come here, but this one does not allow me. Okay, we can just start from this page. It's fine. So now I'm sure we now understand why we say that the cost of equity that we calculated for the current structure is not the one, right? And we are calculating the new beta. I'm sure we did calculate it and get 0.88. Anyone with a challenge with that? In terms of that calculation, I'm trying to check it. I don't know where I moved it. I know it's here, but I can't. You didn't get the calculation, right?
Yeah, can you please just go back to the 0.88? I want to see the calculation.
Okay, but let me also highlight this, get this document. That's also help us to make sure that you are covered. There's also a separate class that we did. I hope it's not the one opening because it's trying to take more time. Okay, so get this document. On this document, we've been explaining about this aspect of beta, what, you see, cost of capital divisions difference. So we have got financial risk is derived from interest payment and the whatever. So all as I explaining is on this one. All right. There was a separate class on this one to help you. Okay, let me. So the calculation of levered beta. This is the formula. The calculation of unlevered beta. This is formula. This is the formula. So if we've got beta, right? Beta that is got debt, and you want to remove the debt, we use the formula of unlevered beta. Unlevered beta, which is this one, right? We say levered beta or equity beta divided by 1 plus 1 minus tax rate multiplied by debt to equity ratio. In our example there, that was going to be 1.2 divided by 1 plus 1 minus 0.28 multiplied by 0.5 because we are already provided the debt to equity ratio. And we calculated that the final answer was 0.88 rounded to 2 decimal places. So this 0.88 from our calculation signifies what we call unlevered beta. Unlevered beta measures the risk of the company in relation to the market without debt. So that company had 2 million debt and 4 million equity. So what we are doing when we are saying unlevered beta, we are removing the component of 2 million in the risk of the company, and we are only left with 4 million, the equity. We are removing the component of debt. So that beta of 0.8 is representing the risk of the company without debt, right? Because the company had 2 million debt, 4 million equity. So we remove the 2 million debt to come to unlevered beta. Then we will do what we call relever beta, relever the beta. And relever the beta, we use the formula for levered beta, right? Now we want to incorporate the new component of debt in the capital structure. So we're not saying unlevered beta that we've calculated 0.88 multiplied by 1 plus 1 minus 0.28, the tax rate here, multiplied by the debt to equity ratio. What is the current debt to equity ratio for capital structure X? Did we remember?
Yeah, it's 1.
It's 1. And we solve and we come up with our new beta for structure X. Are we together? So levered beta takes into account the effect of debt on the institution's performance. So now we're incorporating the new debt structure. So you get this slide. It will help you to understand most of the things. It has got some examples here, and I believe you'll be fine. Are we together on that aspect of beta? So that unlevered beta formula is a formula that you just need to know. You can just put it on your paper or on your Word that you used to write before the examination so that you don't forget it. But I'm going to supply some formulas, right? Are we together?
Yes.
So, can we calculate the new beta for structure X?
Yes. We're gonna have our unlevered beta, and then in brackets all that calculation 1 plus 1 minus t
Is
multiplied
it
by
correct
d.
what I did?
You go to, yes, 1.28 multiplied by 1, yes. So 0.88 multiplied by 1.72. You're still right.
You said?
Yes, you're right.
Okay. So what's the
Iman,
answer?
don't you want to write it down like where you say unlevered beta, and then in brackets you write 1 plus another bracket 1 minus t, so that we have the whole formula as we write down.
Like
Like
this,
here on
right?
the, like the way you just explained now on that slide.
Let me see. Like this, right?
Like this, yes.
So you can just also, if you want, to incorporate these brackets like this. So I think here maybe it might be a bit confusing. So you can do this, but here remember there's a multiplication. Are we together? Are we getting it? Is it
I'm
clear?
getting 1.54. I don't know if I'm doing it wrong.
It's 1.5. I've got 1.5136.
I don't
So
know
is
where I'm
this,
doing it wrong.
so you said you got what, guys? I think that the answer. Let me scroll down also, but I don't want to scroll down that much.
I got 1.5136. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure it's 1.5136 because here we got 1.51. Can you redo the calculation, guys, and see if you're, because this is how we are calculating it. You see there? Are we getting the same answer there? 1.51. Let's all do and see if we can get 1.51.
Is it 1.51704?
1.51
704.
704. This is what you are getting, all guys.
No, it's supposed to be 1.51366. 1.5136. So it's
Okay,
still
let's
1.51.
okay. I'm sure Joseph get 1.517. Can you read to 0.88 multiplied by 1 plus here you can subtract already multiplied by 0.72 multiplied by 1. Make sure that maybe what you can also do, you can first calculate this part, then multiply by 0.88. I'm sure there's also a formula, but let me not use on the internet to calculate for you. But let's just do this calculation and make sure that we all get 1.51. Maybe it could be the calculator issue, but let's just try to do it. So
Yeah,
we
is
are
it
saying
1.516? Was
is it
that it? 1.5136.
Yes.
okay?
Okay, I got it.
1. Let's just redo together. Plus we open another bracket, right? 1 minus 0.8, then here multiplied by or even the one that is not there, so it's the same then we get 1.5136. I'm sure we are good there. So what are we supposed to do next, guys? We got our beta of 1.51. What's next?
And then we are
Calculate
going
for
to
both structures.
Yes, come again.
we
Are
are
we
going
going
to
to
do our
calculate?
cost of equity for structure X.
Yes, cost of equity for X.
So we still say our risk-free plus beta and multiply by our market risk premium, or RM minus RF.
Okay.
So we're still going to substitute what we have.
So we've got RF is what?
Risk-free is still 5. Our risk-free is 5 plus 1.51 that we just calculated, multiply by 5. So we get 12.55%.
Get 12.55.
Yes, that's what I got.
Okay, and what's next now, guys?
And then we are going to move to our scenario 2, or structure Y. We calculate the 60% debt and 40% equity. Now the scenario has changed, or we are given
So it's
different
your
weights.
choice. Well, that's fine. It's your choice, guys. What do you want, and what do you find easier for you guys for given this question? To then calculate what for this one, or maybe we can do the beta, leave a beta for the second capital structure. Then we calculate work for all of them once, or to first calculate the work of this, then move to the next. What is best for you?
I think the best is just one by one. Just do X, get done with X, go to Y, and get done with Y.
Okay, we can do the work then. It's still fine.
Okay, so the reason that what I did on my calculation, I did what the previous speaker said, to say let's go to the calculation of the beta for Y, and also get the cost of equity for Y. But I think maybe in the examination, for you not to be also confused by having new betas a lot, so that you do not mix them. I feel like it's best that you can calculate the work for for X, then you finish, right? So let's calculate the work for X. How are we going about it?
Okay, we can say our work for 50% for structure X. We'll say our cost of debt multiplied by weight of debt plus our cost of equity multiplied by our weight of equity.
Yes. Then it will be
Our cost of debt. We have that 7.2.
7.2.
Then our weight is 0.5.
0.5
plus 12.55
12.5
multiply by 0.5 as well. So for our 7.2, we get 3.6 plus our 6.275.
3.6 here.
3.6 plus
Yes.
6.275. I round it off to, because it was 2750.
Oh, so it's 6.275.
Yes. So I don't know. I got 9.875 or 9.88.
Thank you. Round it to decimal places. Any question, guys? Hello?
I said I'm still busy calculating.
Okay, you can do the calculation, guys, and see if you're getting it. Feel free, even if you cover part A only, it's fine. But what I can tell you, this is the last major topic that we are doing now. We need to understand this. Feel free. We are just going to wrap up just a few areas, right? But this cost of capital and the cost of capital structure and capital budgeting. Those are the needs we covered. Cash budgets. We also did leasing. We also did current assets and working capital management. Those are the just best few main topics. So do your calculation, guys, and see if you are reaching this point or this answer. Then we take it from there.
Okay, I get it.
You are getting it right. Anyone who has not yet reached the answer.
We got it.
You
Is
got
the
it.
total 9.88?
9.88 rounded to 2 decimal places. I'm sure the previous speaker said they got 9.875. Is that so? And we rounded
Yes,
to 2 decimal.
75, but if you round it, it's 9.88.
Yeah, let's just round it to 2 decimal. So are we good? And if we're good, let's go to the next. What will be the next? What will be the next?
So do we do now the exact same thing, but just with the 60-40?
Come again?
I say, are we going to do the exact same thing, but just with the 60-40 ratio?
Yes. If you want to do it, guys, we can do it. Then you tell me the answer, or maybe can we go through it together? But that's the same thing.
Let's go through it together. I do have the answer. Like,
okay.
We can just
So let's go
again. We are given structure Y, which is your 60-40. So we are going to start with the lever beta because we didn't do scenario 2 on that structure Y.
Because we already have a lever beta, right?
Yes.
Yes. So
we still take our 0.88, meaning we have our levered beta multiplied by that whole fraction of 1 plus 1 minus t multiplied by our dead ratio, which is 1.5, because we're going to say 60 divided by 40. So that ratio we have 1.5, like you were explaining.
Oh, okay. So you're saying I'm saying 0.88.
Remember, you said we now say 60-40. Now, which we're going to get our 1.5.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yes.
So we can
correct.
start by, yes, it's that unlevered beta multiplied by 1 plus the whole calculation of 1 minus t multiplied by 60 divided by 40, because those are the weights that we're given.
The 1.5 being 60 divided by
40, which is the ratio of 1.5, right?
Okay, thank you. Are we all getting this? Yes, you can go. You can proceed.
Okay. Then we're gonna say it's 0.88 multiplied by that 1 plus 2.08, so it's 3.08. Then we get, I got 1.8304 or 1.83 as it is.
1.8304.
Yeah, I just said 1.83. That's what I got.
3 our beta. Are we all getting this? Let's try to do and advise me if you're getting to the answer.